Happy birthday, Mr. President. It's your 72nd birthday, and Betsy and Thomas at the American Intelligence Media wish you 72 more. Today, we're going to look at the tweets of June 14th. Thomas, the first one is, the Republican Party is starting to show very big numbers. People are starting to see what is being done. Results are speaking loudly. North Korea and our greatest ever economy are leading the way.
Yes, Betsy, and yes, certainly. Happy birthday, Donald. I hope that, besides peace in the world, besides the greatest economy America has recorded with the statistics that we use, besides more victories and winning than any other president has ever had, I hope you even more blessings in this coming year. And as we pointed out, you're going to be continuously on fire for the American people until August 21st of this year. So,
well, wait a minute. I don't like that. Until then. I mean, I know his aspects are good, but then what happens the day after?
That's the death of the mainstream media. That's the death of the lies that are keeping him from moving us forward. Everyone who has stood up against him has been burnt alive. So what do they expect? Go ahead. Anyone who still has a final shot at Trump, take it now so that you can burn up in the flame of the phoenix rising. Because that's what we're seeing. We are seeing the Republic of America rise again with the Second American Revolution led by Donald Trump. And he leads the Republican Party, and all these victories is creating, as we have pointed out, not a blue wave, but a red tsunami. And the red tide is coming in. And because of all these victories, and anyone that he names as a MAGA supporter winning in these primaries, he is basically saying that the Republican Party is no longer what it was. It has transformed into the Trump Republican Party, and anyone who stands with Trump is going to win. And no matter what the lying mainstream media says, because he is in a war against them, he's not stopping till they're dead, and we are putting out an intelligence report today or tomorrow on free speech to support this war, and we're doing it by supporting Trump tweets because these tweets are the news.
Okay, the next one. Now that I'm back from Singapore, where we had a great result with respect to North Korea, the thought process must sadly go back to the witch hunt. Always remembering that there was no collusion and no obstruction of the fabricated no crime.
Yeah, isn't that sad that Mueller gets the attention of the mainstream media when peace is being brokered in North Korea, when he's winning in China, winning in Syria, winning everywhere? All they can focus on is the nonsense. And Mueller embarrasses himself with every single move. I mean, he tried to ask a judge to let them not prosecute these Russians in a timely fashion, but just let it string out. He actually literally went before the judge and said, can we just string this out because we haven't translated these 2.5 million Russian things.
Because we have no evidence?
And we have no evidence, so we need to spend a long time translating these things that we said we used to convict them and indict them. So that's one. There is no collusion, Rod Rosenstein said. There is no obstruction, Rod Rosenstein said. And there never could have been because it is not legal. And there is no such thing as the charges that he was investigating. And he's gone beyond the scope. And even when he got personal, when Rod Rosenstein said, oh, yes, you can expand this special counsel to be anything you want. Go after Manafort, for 10 years ago for something he did. Go after anybody you want. That's illegal. That would have had to be Jeff Sessions to let it go anything further than what Sessions had recused himself from, which was the Russian connection. So what we're saying is the special counsel will be just like Horowitz's report. It's going to be filled with hot air, nonsense, and it was simply used as an excuse to cover the trail of the criminals and to basically feed the viewers out there in Newsland with the dream, the hope that Horowitz is going to save them, or that Mueller might actually do something properly, or that he would stop his investigation before the election comes. No, that isn't what it's for, folks. We've told you what it's for. So
one just has to remember that Michael Horowitz and Jeff Sessions are senior executive service operatives. They are not going to be working with the rule of law here.
And as we pointed out when we wrote an intelligence report on who Horowitz is, he's one of the most corrupt people in Washington, D.C. He's one of the legal fixers. He will be taking the position of the head of the FBI or the head of the Department of Justice, guaranteed, because he was raised up in the corruption. He spent most of his time teaching corporations how to not get prosecuted and telling judges how to not sentence them properly. That's what he's noted for, okay? This is the most corrupt person for corporations, for lobbying, for the twisted up fake justice that we describe. No, don't trust Horowitz at all. His report is going to say nothing. We told you this from the beginning. It's not going to say anything. And it's going to use a word, political, to get out of it. And it's going to use national security as the excuse for why he didn't do a thorough investigation. And he's going to use Sally Yates's response to Horowitz that said, no, you cannot go and look at the content of the special counsel, Mueller's special counsel investigation. You can't do that. Though legally he can, he was told by Sally Yates, who was then fired. So why does that stay in place? Why didn't Horowitz examine the special counsel? Why didn't he look at the corruption, the FISA corruption? How about all the things that from the beginning Sessions and Rosenstein dumped on Horowitz? Horowitz has 7 separate investigations going on now, folks. The one that's coming out is going to try to obfuscate the other 6. It's going to say there was no political motivation or bias in anything the DOJ and the FBI did. That's insane. That's unbelievable. That is disgusting, but we predicted that is what would happen. It is very possible that Andrew McCabe may not even be convicted for his disgusting institutionalized leaks, which we have all the proof of and we've already seen. So that's what I have to say about Horowitz, though I don't think it's in here yet.
As soon as Horowitz's report comes out, we'll be doing a special audio on that. So stay tuned for that. The next tweet is, so the Democrats make up a phony crime, collusion with the Russians, pay a fortune to make the crime sound real, illegally leak, Comey, classified information so that a special counsel will be appointed, and then collude to make this pile of garbage take on life in fake news. And again, if you want to follow these tweets along, click on the link in the description box below.
As he points out, it was Comey and Mueller who colluded with Rosenstein and Jeff Sessions. That's how this investigation came about. But it came about because what he says, a fortune was paid by who? The Democratic National Committee, $12 million, to
well, let's just take the price of the special counsel itself. This is millions of dollars that they're spending.
Well, they say 17 million. This. 17 million already, just this year. And then we have the $50 million paid to Daniel Jones, Dianne Feinstein's
Step and Fetch It boy.
Step and Fetch It Senate Intelligence Committee specialist who goes out and creates a company that gets $50 million from Russians, Soros, and others to continue the attack, to continue the coup, to work with Christopher Steele, who has already been kicked off the case because he had done so many things wrong. He had actually committed crimes, but the crimes go on. So what he's saying is a fortune was paid. The illegal leak, Comey and his buddy, who he now says was his lawyer, which is a lie. And those leaks, why isn't Comey going down for leaks? Where is Horowitz's investigation that would have said that Comey was certainly politically designed to be a weapon of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, and anyone who can't see that is blind. Sorry, maybe Mr. Horowitz is blind.
Well, it's not that he's blind. His job as a senior executive service operative is to protect their army. They have this rogue army of bureaucrats that are operating our government and trying to take away the United States government. I mean, to overthrow it.
That's it. And when Comey couldn't do it with his 28 crimes of treason, which we have put in our intelligence reports, he cried and got Mueller to come save him. And so Mueller came in and gave him immunity. That's the reason he's out barking up the wrong trees and actually insinuating early on that he wanted to run for president. No, he is a criminal beyond imagination that if we could get to the bottom of his crimes, he would be one of the top 10 historic criminals in American political history. But as it is now, no, Mueller has given him exonerated him, given him complete immunity, as you can tell. Okay,
the next tweet is 2. I'm going to read them together. The sleazy New York Democrats and their now disgraced and run out of town AG Eric Schneiderman are doing everything they can to sue me on a foundation that took in $18.8 million and gave out to charity more money than it took in, $19.2 million. I won't settle this case. Schneiderman, who ran the Clinton campaign in New York, never had the guts to bring this ridiculous case, which lingered in their office for almost 2 years. Now he resigned his office in disgrace, and his disciples brought it when we would not settle.
So there you have it. He's not going to settle that one. He settled the one on the Trump University, which he didn't want to, but because of the campaign, he settled it. Cohen paid off that the people sent forth by David Brock, who claimed to have sex with Trump. Remember, he paid 3 of them, and more than likely, Dusty is one of the ones that was paid. So Cohen paid her, the lawyer, off to just go away because he knew it was a political buy-off. Same thing with the Trump University, but he's not backing off of this one because here's what happened. Trump, unlike Hillary, who takes in billions and gives and keeps all but 5%. She gives out about less than 5% of the money given to her and her foundation, folks. 95% go in the pocket of her husband, and her daughter. And during that time, she also, as the Secretary of State, collected hundreds of billions of dollars for pay to play. And then during the election, as we saw, $84 million that she cheated Bernie Sanders and the other candidates out of through the Democratic National Committee, through cheating, when she allowed donors to write one check that would then be split up between the states and then turned around and given to her, but she didn't split it up between the states. So the corruption there is unbelievable. The Federal Election Commission case against her for $12 million paying Fusion GPS for opposition research using Ukrainian, British, and Russian agents. Hello? Russian foreign agents meddling in our election? Yes. How come that hasn't come to light? No, when Trump gives away $19 million, though he didn't even have that much in the foundation to give away. And who did he give it away to? Veterans. These are veterans who needed animals. These were veterans who needed medical concerns paid for. These are the people that he supported. They say that somehow was tainted because he did it during the election. He had always been doing this. This is standard operating procedure. Take a look. He's been given award after award for his philanthropy, folks. And who does he usually focus it on? The very people he's focusing it on now as president. He's 100% consistent. There was nothing wrong with this. The other Democrats, they're the corrupt ones. And Barbara Underwood, who came in to take over for Schneiderman, literally what he's saying here is true. The Clinton campaign was run out of the New York Attorney General's office, who brought, more than 20 some cases against Trump? One after the next to try to knock him out or to defame him, because none of them stuck. So they were running an opposition campaign for the Democrats out of Eric Schneiderman's office, and now they're continuing to do it because they can't let up, and now it's a coup. So what we see in New York, this is typical. It's been going on the entire time. It was going on before the election when Roger Stone had already basically courted Trump along with others to run for president. They knew about this. They started attacking him early on because they knew he was a contender and actually had a chance. So this is nothing more than the Democratic. By the way, remember, Mueller brought Eric Schneiderman into his investigation. This is a Mueller attack. Don't forget that. Mueller is using the New York Attorney General's office to attack Trump.
Because he has run out of ammo. What we're really seeing here is the death rattle of these people. This is the last thing that they possibly can dredge up.
And that's why Trump's making fun of them. Something that 2 years ago this happened. Why didn't you bring it up during the election? Why didn't nobody even bring it up and give him any credit when he did it? Well, because it was a beautiful thing to do.
They ran out of the Russian collusion, the Stormy Daniels, so now they got to come up with this. So, we know that in the end that they'll lose this too. No.
And always it's a projection. So instead of Trump and as a Republican giving money from a foundation illegally, it was, of course, Hillary from all of her foundations taking money illegally. It's nothing more than the reverse. Remember, when you hear the mainstream media say something, reverse it, and then you will have the direction to look for the truth.
And then, coincidentally, how about this? Happy 243rd birthday to the U.S. Army. Thank you for your bravery, sacrifices, and dedication to the USA. We love you. And that, I had a picture attached. I've got it in the link below if you care to look at that.
It's a beautiful thing. No president has supported the military with his heart and his soul and his spirit more than Donald Trump. Admittedly, he was not in the military. But on the other hand, the respect that he shows for the military and the respect that he shows for our greatest national treasure, human life, makes him one of the best presidents. And it just so happens that his birthday is, Flag Day and the birthday of the Army and so on and so forth. He is truly a patriot, and he is truly a great commander-in-chief.
And now we have a little treat for our listeners. If you'll just continue on, there's a little treat at the end of this video.